Hello, welcome to LinkedIn Live at 11 with me, Spence. And today we honor the legacy of the incredible, the one and only, simply the best, of course, Tina Turner. And wow, so she sadly passed, obviously, this week. She's an absolute powerhouse performer who redefined the landscape of live music. So we're going to explore some of the key elements that made Tina Turner's shows so unforgettable, and and we can see how we can learn from her mastery because success leaves clues. Excuse me. So she was born. Just a little bit of a backstory for you. For those of you who don't know about her, who haven't seen the film of her life, she was born as Annie Mae Bullock in Nutbush, Tennessee, hence the name, hence the song Nutbush City Limits. Absolute banger of a tune. So she began her career in the 50s when she met Ike Turner at a nightclub. So she joined his band as a vocalist, and the duo went on to form the Ike and Tina Turner Revue, producing several hits like Proud Mary, which actually won a Grammy Award in 1972. Now, if you've heard the version of the original version by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and then you listen to their version, completely different versions, both great, but it's one of those covers that just completely blows away the original, in my opinion. And if we can see, we're going to talk a bit more about that song particularly because it kind of really illustrates everything for me about everything, how to bring a song to life on stage. And this is what this is all about. What's live got to do with it? It's got everything to do with it. If you're a musician, this is my jam, right? Being the live performance side of things is what I'm focusing on. This is what I'm all about. This is what I'm obsessed by. This is what I want to help you guys with in creating a better live show. So anyway, back to the scripts. So she created that Proud Mary track, and we're going to show you a bit more of that a bit later on. Some clips of like when she first did it in the 70s and when she was doing it later on in her career, like 30, 40 years later, and just see what was the same and how she actually brought that song to life. But of course, as you know, some of you know, it wasn't always easy for her. So behind the scenes, things were very far from perfect. Tina endured years of terrible abuse at the hands of Ike, which she would later bravely disclose to the world. Which you got to think that was brave of her to do that, because he, in a way, kind of made her. He was already well known. She joined the band, and he was kind of like the brains behind it, if you like. She was very young, and although she had the voice and she had the raw ability, the talent, it was him really that got things going. But he did abuse it terribly. And in those days, that isn't, it was kind of more normal than it is now to be. Domestic abuse is never normal, and it's never forgivable, really. But you could argue, in those days, it was kind of more normalized, whereas now it'd be, even worse. Anyway, so basically that abuse continued, and in 1976, Tina left Ike with nothing more than 36 cents and a mobile credit card to her name, marking the end of her personal relationship. So that took a lot of courage for her to leave him, because he was like I say, he was not only a lover, but he was like her manager, and he was the brains and the behind the outfit. So she faced poverty then, because she had a lot of debt. So Ike had a lot of dodgy business dealings. He ran up a lot of debt in her name, and she really struggled to rebuild her life. Despite the hardship, she never lost hope and continued to perform. And this is the mindset of the woman. We're going to talk all about this. I'm going to break it down a bit more in a minute, but this is kind of the overview. But she never lost hope. And she continued to perform because she knew that was where that she could make money. You know, she took any gig to support children. And the music industry, still influenced by Ike's legacy, was reluctant to accept her as a solo act. So she found it really hard to sort of, even though she built up a bit of a, a head of steam, she built up some momentum with Ike because of his bad business dealings and because she'd kind of left him and she was in a typical bad financial position. It was just a big struggle for her. But anyway, she kept going. And in 1983, everything changed for her. Tina recorded a cover of Al Green's Let's Stay Together, which became a hit. So this success led to a new contract with Capitol Records and the release of her fifth solo album, Private Dancer. The album was a commercial success, selling over 20 million copies worldwide and earning her a Grammy Award for Record of the Year. Now, a little bit of trivia about that record, about the title track, Private Dancer. Now, Tina didn't write all of her songs. Obviously, she did a lot of covers. And that song is obviously, that song wasn't written by Tina Turner. That song was written by somebody else who was also quite famous. Do you know who that is? You're going to think it's a woman, right? Well, wrong. It was none other than Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits. He wrote Private Dancer for her. That's a fact. So Tina was back. She was bigger than ever. She set records with the live performances, including the record for the largest paying audience for a single artist at Maracana Stadium. Her albums continued to chart, and she embarked on several world tours that solidified her status as one of the best, if not, well, still one of the best live performers at that time and probably ever. Despite her announcing her retirement in 2000, Tina's indomitable spirit led her to a brief return in 2008 with Tina, the 50th anniversary tour. So you just can't keep a good woman down, can you? She just retired, but then wants to come back and give it one more go, which was also a massive commercial success. Her contributions to music have been recognised with numerous awards, including a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. So in 2020, Tina's life story was adapted into a Broadway and West End musical, Tina, showcasing her incredible journey and her underlying resilience. And obviously, there was the film that came out about her life, which was in the 90s. And of course, May 2023, we said goodbye to her, but Tina's legacy continues to inspire artists worldwide. She showed us that it's never too late for a comeback, that she embodied the power of resilience, hard work, and authenticity. And today, we salute Tina Turner, the woman, the survivor, the icon. Through her music and life, she's taught us one thing. What's love got to do with it? Well, it's got everything, hasn't it? So let's look at some of her. Let's see some of her in action. So we're going to share the screen here. So this is her. So let's just talk about her gaining respect. So this is like an interview with her, and this is Mindset.
Success.
I would say endurance, enduring all that I had to endure until I got here, meaning the double shows a night, and then in the working, the road that I had to take by not having a record, meaning there's nothing wrong with working in Las Vegas if you enjoy it, but if you want to be someplace else, that means that you enjoy it less. So it was like working the Fairmont hotels, doing mostly all the conventions. That was wonderful and fun and gratifying, but then when it no longer became fun and I wanted to get back into this, then the impatient part sort of.
Who believed in you along the way?
Me. All me. My family is very small, and I don't really discuss my desires with my family in that sense. That's all very private, you know. A few very close friends that I would talk about. Yeah, they knew I wanted to be an actress, but that's like, sure, and I want to be a singer. I mean, everybody have all these things that they want to be. It's like, sure, maybe you'll get there. But it wasn't that person there that's going, do it, you'll get it, don't worry, you know. But then when I changed management, and I sat down and talked to Roger Davies, he believed in me, or else he would not have taken the time. Mm-hmm. He finally came to see the show and saw that the potential was there, and that there needed to be some changes. And I believed that he could do it, It was the meet is incredible to make the realization now as we really talk about it. There was an exchange there, knowing that this young boy could do it.
And he knew you could
And
do it.
he knew I could do it. And we
You-
both wanted the same thing.
You had been ostracized by the record industry because of some mistakes that Ike made. Do you harbor any resentment now that success is there in front of you? Are you bitter at all?
Not at all. I was not. When I left 10 years ago, it was really, I wasn't bitter. I just figured I'd finished it. And all was done, and all was fine.
Do you know who your real friends are now? You've been up, down, and up.
They were all there. I mean, I can't say the people in the industry now because you can't, that's very hard to get someone as a friend in the industry. It's business. And they're saying, well, who's the producer? Where does she want to go? I mean, that's not, I cannot say that they all put me down. I'll say they didn't know where to put me. They all said to Roger, she's great, we all know that, but what can we do with her? So I did not really get involved with people saying, oh, shush, maybe Roger did and he didn't tell me. But I just sort of felt like I was this entity that no one knew where to put me. And then finally someone said, well, I'll take her and find out where she goes.
So, as you can see there, she just incredible mindset there. So she was down and out pretty much. She'd left Ike, loads of debt, and no one wanted to touch her. No one knew what to do with her. And she was taking loads of gigs. She was doing 2 gigs a night, and I guess she was also, looking after her own kids. She's got 4 kids. So, I mean, that's incredible mindset to keep going for like 10 years in that kind of wilderness. And then finally getting someone on her side, a management company, changing management, and them saying, okay, this is what we can do, and then going with that. So I think that's a great example of mindset there. And, people who are, you might be yourself, you're out there and you're thinking, well, I've been doing this for years and nothing's happening, but sometimes it takes that long. And she's already been successful in the beginning. She'd already won a Grammy, and then she was back out in the wilderness for 10 years again before getting success again. So I think that kind of long-term mindset is a great thing to have. And obviously, the bottom line of it, she's got phenomenal talent. She's got an amazing voice. She's amazing live performer. So it wasn't just like she was lucky. She had the talent to back it up, but she had also got the resilience to stay with it when a lot of people might have thought, just give it up. So that's how, I guess it all starts with the mind, right? And this is why I like to teach on what I bring to the workshop. And if you're thinking of starting out and you're doing live performances, or you're already doing live performances, and maybe you're like in a Tina Turner way out in the wilderness a bit and going, yeah, I know I can do this. I'm getting some good feedback and all that, but I feel a bit stuck. So that could be a good opportunity to sort of look at what you're actually doing in your live performance and get some feedback and how you can improve it. And I think that's what happened with Tina. She had a revamp, didn't she? She had a restyling, and her sound changed. She went more pop and less soul-y, and then it's just the music industry is changing all the time as well. Styles change and production styles change. And the one thing that didn't change for her was her mindset and her resilience and just her determination. So that brings on to what sets you apart. So we've looked at mindset. So what sets her apart from that? Now, she had just a really unique style, I think. And just her look as well. Incredible, like massive hair. I mean, no one really looked like her, and you could see her influence in other people now. So if you look at like Beyonce performing, for example, she's totally influenced by Tina Turner, and obviously other people are influenced by Beyonce. But I think she was one of the original women on stage, black women anyway, to really move on stage as well, dance as well as sing. And dance in a really iconic way, because when you think about her, when I think about Tina Turner, you always, whenever you hear Proud Mary, everyone does the kind of dance, don't they? That kind of, and it's such a simple move, but that's kind of, she made that kind of iconic. So what else set her apart? I mean, she had that kind of great look of she was not only sort of smart, like business smart and sort of street smart, but she had that kind of sassiness about her, sexiness, but it never went into kind of sleaziness. It was always had like a class. She always had a bit of class about her as well as being kind of sassy. So, I mean, that's kind of a hard, it's like a difficult balance to pull off. And I think, especially now, as a lot of performers nowadays go more into the sort of sexy side of things, and then sort of, especially with females performing, it seems to be that females think they have to, be overtly sexual to perform. Whereas, I don't think Tina Turner was ever overtly sexual. She was always very sassy, but she always had like that kind of a bit of class about her, didn't she? So I think the moves and her hair, obviously, especially in the 80s, massive hair, very long legs, very short skirts, but sort of dancing in high heels. That's kind of crazy. So think about how she set herself apart, how you can set yourself apart. What is your look? What are you going for? What's your kind of image? If you had to do like a little sketch of you, what would be the things that stand out? Would it be your hair? Would it be what you wear? Would it be some kind of accessories? What sets you apart? And also, she had just the live show, the voice as well. I mean, that was the big thing, the set of voice. You just know instantly, as soon as you open your mouth, it's a Tina Turner record. There's no one really that sounds like her. And that is, that's God-given, isn't it? You can't really change your voice in some way. So maybe that's you. Is that what sets you apart? Is you've been told that, you've got a unique voice. That's your building block for setting yourself apart, because that's what it's really about, isn't it? When you think of Tina Turner, you just think, well, there's no one really like her, well, before or since. Although, like I say, people kind of mimic her a bit more now, but certainly she's definitely a one-off. So that's what sets you apart. And so let's look at this. This is one of her famous performances here, and this is what I want to show you about. She does this great thing with Proud Mary, and she introduces the song. And so this is like her doing it in 1974, still with Ike Turner at this point. And you can see here this performance.
I like to do things but still good. Which is the case. You never. But I guess you think it's just one thing. Seems like we hardly ever do anything nice and easy. Well, now, suppose we like to do it rough. This is the way we do. Proud Mary. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. I left a good job down in the city. Was working for the man every night and day. And I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, 'cause I was worried about the way the thing might have been. Big wheel keep on turning. Proud Mary keep on burning. And we're rolling, rolling, yeah. Rolling on the river. Set a clean lot of plays.
till I hits the ride on the riverboat queen. It will keep on turning, and the proud Mary keep on burning. And I tell you, we're rolling, rolling, yeah, rolling on the river.
So that is the intro to that song is very interesting in the way she sets up the song. You know, she's doing the talking about, you know, we never do it nice and easy. Sometimes we like to do it rough. Now that's kind of a shorter version of it. So this is how that sort of developed into this, which was many years later. So you can imagine how many. So this was like 1974, and now we go to Tina Turner live Wembley 2000. So like 26 years later, right? This is what she's doing with Proud Mary. This is how she's introducing it.
Cause we like to do it. I said we like to do it. Nice and rock. And we're gonna take the beginning of this song and do it. Then we're gonna do the finish. Nice. Rock. This is the way we do. Proud Mary. And we're rolling, take it with me, rolling, rolling on the river. Still we're rolling, rolling, rolling. Left up the job in the city, working for the man.
So you can see there, you can see how the live performance evolved there, because she got that kind of setup, and she obviously elaborated it and lengthened it as the years went on, and the stadium, the stages got bigger, right? So the first one we see there, it's kind of in a club somewhere like that, and then now she's on stage, a massive stadium, Wembley Stadium, playing these huge arenas. And so obviously the sets get bigger, the lighting, it gets all more spectacular. But in essence, what she's doing is building up the song, building it up, and every now and then bringing it back, and just total dynamics, total mastery. And this is, this is how that song works, doesn't it? It sets it up. They don't just go straight into the verse and then into the chorus. They build it up and build it up and build it up. And it starts to become really really exciting. And by the time it really kicks in, you're with it. You're flying with the song. It's amazing. So check it out. Check out Proud Mary. There's so many examples of it online, but what you'll see is it's the same. It's consistent throughout the years. It expands and expands, and she's kind of elongated it. But in essence, she does the same setup each time vocally. And what that does, you might think, well, that's boring, keeping it the same every time. But what that actually does is it allows her, because it allows her and the band, they know what's going to happen, right? They know when each moment in the song, because they're creating, that's what they're doing, is creating moments within the song, not just within the whole set, but within the song. So that track pretty much would probably close the show because it's such a barnstormer, right? It's such a big track and it's so energetic and it's so hype that they'd probably finish with that song. So they build it up, build it up, build it up. And so think about that with your shows. Have you got a song that you can kind of stretch out a little bit, that you can create the intro, that you can set it up with a story? So she's talking about, so we like to do it nice and easy, but sometimes we like to do it rough. This is how we do, so they're building it up. They're building it up with, and there's prosody there because they're kind of, what she's talking about matches the music and the kind of the rolling and the gentle steadiness, and then it suddenly changes gear. So have you got a song like that in your set? Have you got a song that you could stretch it out, that you could elongate the intro, that you can weave a story into it, so you engage in people? And if you notice, there's a dance move there, very easy sort of dance move, but it's visual. She's not just standing there holding the mic, just saying, this is a great song, this is how we do Proud Mary, and then into the song. There's life in it, there's movement, there's soul. She's kind of, and it looks natural. If you've never seen her before, you've never saw those two shows before, you went to go and see her, you'd think, oh, maybe she's just saying that, she's just making that up off the top of her head, she's ad-libbing as she goes in the song. But as you can see, she's been doing that for 26 years. But it looks that easy, and it's that second nature in it because she knows the script, right? And that's also not just setting up songs, but setting up the next song. So in between songs, what's your kind of dialogue like in between songs? Now, most bands I see at the kind of the starting off level or the intermediate level, they might not even introduce the song. They might just go straight to the next one, and that's fine as well. That works for the Ramones. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're in. But that in itself, that was stylized. That was kind of that was intentional to do that, and that was their thing. Now, if you start doing that, you'd just be seen as a Ramones copy. So how can you bring in ideas in between each song, but also rehearse what you're going to say in between each song? So not just the songs themselves, but the whole thing. That's really important because I see that so much. I see live shows, live gigs, really, and this is what the difference for me between a gig and a show is. A gig is when most bands do this that I see at a certain level. They turn up, and I've been in bands like this myself as well, and you're sitting backstage half an hour, you've done all your sound check and everything, you're like, okay, so what should we play then? Should we do the set list? And then you work out the set list just before you go on stage. You don't know what you're going to say, you don't know how you're going to introduce it, you've got a few in jokes with the band that you find funny and sort of rely on those, but no one else knows really what you're talking about. How many times have you seen that happen? Or it's just very awkward, very awkward in between songs, not really what to say, or, people are tuning and stuff like that, and then somebody decides to say something because there's an awkward silence, and they'll just say, oh, yeah, thanks for being here, and yeah, it's great to be here, how you do, it's just painful to listen to, So you can lose so much momentum by, I had a great song, and then you kind of lose it in between the songs, and it's the momentum between the songs and what you say and how you set up the next song that actually keeps and builds the momentum of the whole show. If you lose it in between each song, you're having to start again with every song that you do, new song. But audiences aren't going to tolerate much of that, even if they're big fans of yours. You're going to switch off very quickly, especially now because people's attention spans are just so much shorter. Even if you put it on a good show, people are still going to be staring at the phones and sort of being distracted. So you're going to work even harder now at creating a really engaging live show to keep people interested, to keep people with you. So, and what I did notice first off, when I looked at that clip from 1974, when you see Ike Turner, I didn't notice this, but Ike Turner's playing in the boat. He's doing the low bits at the back. He's actually broke a string, and he's changing the string as he's playing. I don't know if you noticed that. Check that clip out again. I'm not going to play it here. But check it out, 1974, I think, Argentina. And he's just casually putting a new string on, rolling down the river, as he's changing the string. I mean, he's got a tune or anything. And the song's about to kick off, So I mean, how many people can do that? How many would you be able to do that if you're a guitarist? Like, just carry on with the show while you're changing a broken string. I know for me, it would be like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop a little second while I change the string. And obviously, if you're a solo performer, it's different because, but you've just what that shows to me is they're just professional. They just know what they're doing. They know the song inside out. They know exactly what they're going to say. He knows what she's going to say. The whole band knows what everyone's doing at any one time. And within that, when you have that structure and you have that kind of, everybody knows what everyone's doing exactly at every moment. No one's going off piece. No one's sort of suddenly improvising beginnings and endings or what they're saying in between songs. Then you can relax more on stage. Then everyone can relax. You can enjoy it more. You can put more into the performance because you know what's coming next. You know what you're going to be doing. You haven't got to think, oh, what do I say next? Where do I go now? What do I say? What next? What's the next song? When does that come in? You haven't just rehearsed the song. You've rehearsed the whole set, the whole show. So I think you get the point. So that's setting up songs for maximum impact, and something that we're going to talk about in the workshop as well. And you're thinking, well, what is this workshop that you're talking about? Well, the workshop is on June the 12th. It's called the Live Performance Enhancement Workshop. And if you've got, scan the QR code there, or you can drop me a message down there if you want to know more about it. So on June the 12th, it's we've got the early bird tickets at the moment, and they finish on Sunday. So if you want to get in at half price, now's the time to do it. And in the workshop, we're going to be going over this kind of stuff. This is just a brief taste of the kind of things that we're going to be going on and helping you with developing your live show. And we also transition. We're also going to talk about, which we haven't talked about with Tina, but we're going to hit on this as well, about how you set your stall out. What do I mean by that? I mean, setting out your merchandise. How do you sell from the stage? How do you create such a show that people want to buy what you're selling at the end? And what do you sell? What is the best kind of merch to sell? We're going to be talking all about that. How to create the kind of merchandise that people want to sell, and how to create the kind of live show that gets your fans, or actually converts audience, just general audience people, into fans who then want to buy your stuff. Because it's all very well having, really nicely designed merch if no one really wants to buy it. You've got to create that desire in them, and the way you do that, especially with the live performance, it's a great opportunity to affect somebody emotionally, because that's why you want to go to a show, isn't it? That's why I want to go to a music show, is to be affected emotionally, to feel something, whether it's like I want to dance, or I want to feel some kind of feelings. I want to sing along, whatever emotion it is you want to feel. Maybe you want to feel lots of different emotions, and that's what a good show can do. It can bring you, it can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you dance, make you sing. Ideally, that's what a good show can do. So if you are interested in learning more about how you, as a musician, an independent musician, can create a really great live show, all the components that go into it, how you can break each bit down, not just the set list itself, but the songs, how you can get the right mindset, how you can set songs up, how you can set yourself apart, and how you can set your stall out, then join the workshop. The link is here, as you can see in the QR code there. If you want to have a chat, you want to talk about your live performance, you want to talk about your live show, how you can do that, then you can book a free 20-minute call with me. If you go on the bio, there's a link in the bio there, very easily, just click on the link, book a call, let's talk. If you feel like you want to get straight on the workshop, as I said, we've got the early bird tickets, they're going to go They finish on Sunday, so you've literally got a few days to get those. Your best chance to get on for a reduced fee. And there's also a way that you can, because the workshop, once you go on the workshop, there isn't, it's just a one-off, right? So you get to participate, but if you want to get the all access areas pass, then you'll also get the recording. I'll record the whole thing, and you will get a copy of that, so you can go back and again and just rewatch it. So you'll also get extra time with me if you want to have extra questions. It's a good idea to get some live footage recorded. If you haven't got any already, next gig you do, just set up set up your camera and or ask one of your friends to film you, because it's great to see what you're actually doing and how we can sort of give you suggestions on how you can make it better and create the kind of shows that made Tina Turner so famous. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you for watching too. And have a great day. Be prosperous. See you soon.